Welcome to NFL Live. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Dan Orlovsky, Ryan Clark. That guy is Swagoo.
Swag, what up, though?
Screen.
What that toast was hitting for?
Yeah, he just got eaten toast.
He was eating toast with like jam and butter and something.
Window.
Anyway, it's Touchscreen Tuesday. You don't want to miss that. But let's get back to Monday Night Football. We go to Mexico City for this one. 49ers and the Cardinals. During that span, their offense ranks top 5 in the NFL in points and yards per game, as well as third down conversion rate. When Christian McCaffrey has been on the field for the 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown 7 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, including all 4 of his touchdown passes last night. RC, you see all these different pieces on offense for San Francisco. How does Kyle Shanahan manage to use all of them so effectively?
Honestly, Kyle Shanahan is taking his childhood and now applying it to coaching. His dad was Mike Shanahan. His dad had money. So Kyle Shanahan knew what it was like to have plentiful gifts at Christmas. And sometimes when you get all these Christmas gifts, you might play with one day, you might not play with another the other day, but you understand how to use all of them. That's who Kyle Shanahan is. Lisa Salters asked him, are you going to get Elijah Mitchell involved? Because Elijah Mitchell was the leading rusher last year. And he said, yes, I want to, but I can't get him out there. There is not enough footballs to go around. He is like a kid that has all of these toys. And he's like, you know what? Today I want to play with Christian McCaffrey. Pause. And then Christian McCaffrey gets the ball. And then he's like, I want to play with Brandon Ayuk. Pause. We're going to run a whip route. Oh, you know what? Debo, we haven't taken him out of Castle Grayskull with He-Man recently. So we're going to run a reverse to him. And by the way, the biggest toy that he has to play with is Trent Williams. Pause. We're going to pull him. We're going to bring him back. I wouldn't be surprised if they put him in motion again and allowed him to kill somebody on the outside of the line of scrimmage. Kyle Shanahan understands how to utilize each of these guys, and he did it to perfection last night. We got to see a glimpse into the future of what it's going to look like in the NFC Championship.
We've paused.
RC come out of fire, golly, cuz. Listen, man, this is about, for me, this is about Christian McCaffrey and what he's done and how he's multiplied this offense. Look, we already knew that before him, this thing was ran through Debo Samuel. And Debo was the guy that take the pressure off of Jimmy Garoppolo, took the pressure off of those wide receivers. And now you add Christian McCaffrey and pressure is taken off Debo Samuel. And pressure is taken off of Brandon Ayuk and Kittle. And they're playing, like RC is talking about, with these pieces, man. Like, I'm a big fan of the Mississippi Mass Choir, okay? If you haven't heard of them, you need to go check them out. But a lot of people used to get upset with the Mississippi Mass Choir because it was only one lead singer. And everybody knew within that choir somebody else could sing and somebody else needed to step forward. So that's what Kyle Shanahan is doing right now. Another way of explaining what RC just explained. No, you just don't get the solo no more, Debo Samuel. You got another lead singer who can take some pressure off you so you can save your voice, and that's Christian McCaffrey.
You know what?
I was at Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. I don't know the Mississippi Mass.
Yeah, well, we need to get you educated.
Yeah, Nick Lachey.
A few things that Dan needs to learn. Also, Dan, good luck with your analogy here. I hope you have one after those 2 good ones.
I got one.
Okay, so this 49ers defense has allowed 14, 16, and 10 points across their last 3 games. What makes them so difficult to play against?
Speed, power, and explosion. You know, when I watched that tape this morning, all I kept writing down was scary. Dude, their defensive tackles are so game-wrecking off the ball. Like, watch the power, and this is the first play of the game. Imagine being a guy all week, this is what we're going to run, and then the defensive tackles are like, dude, I'm going to blow this play up. And you know what I was thinking it does, guys? Like, everybody on that defense, I'm going to watch Home Alone tonight with my kids. You know, the pigeon lady, when she throws the seed up in the air and all the pigeons come flying. Like,
here we go.
All that once.
She's the scariest part of the movie.
Yo, that's what it's like watching this defense, though. Everybody flies to the football. Everybody flies to the football so fast, man. And you watch that front. Everyone talks about the D-line. You watch this back 7 play, and that back 7 just, I'm telling you, watch him on tape, and everyone in the back 7 is like, when is my turn? Like, they hunt the ball so
everywhere.
Dude, it's scary watching that tape. As good as we think Philadelphia and Dallas are, man, that's the most complete defense out of the legitimate playoff contenders in the NFC.
All right, RC said that it's not Friday. I think it might as well be. Let's carry on with this for the rest of the show. To another top story that we need to get to, Zach Wilson in the spotlight for the way he handled another loss to the Patriots. Here's a reminder.
2nd down and 10. Oh, it was almost picked off on the side and incomplete. Little high and incomplete from Mims. And Wilson to the air. And he is short and incomplete.
We're out here looking sorry, man. And we know that we're not sorry.
Here comes the pressure. Down he goes. Haven't been able to get anything going.
Do you feel like you let the defense down?
No.
So the most concerning part about Zach Wilson's performance on Sunday is that he struggled in situations that should be favorable. Wilson completed only 31% of his passes with a clean pocket, the worst mark by any quarterback in a game this season. And Wilson completed only 44% of his passes to open receivers. The only quarterback with a lower mark this season, Trey Lance, who did so in week 1 in a game that was played in torrential rain. Remember that one? So here's Robert Saleh on Wilson's job yesterday with the New York media.
I'm going to get to the tape and just evaluate everything, and I'll leave it at that. We're keeping everything on the table over the next couple of days.
So you're not committing to Zach as your starter for Sunday?
Not right now, not until I'm done evaluating everything.
All righty then. Marcus, what do you make of the situation in New York right now?
Oh, man. First and foremost, let me say, D.O., I watched you yesterday talk about this situation. Dog, phenomenal. And I'm not being funny. Usually we casting jokes on people, but that was phenomenal, giving people the insight of what quarterback should be. Now, let me give you a defensive player perspective. It came off as arrogant and pompous. That's what it felt like. As a defensive guy, I've sat in the locker room when quarterbacks have come in and done this to their chest, saying this on me, fellas. And we know it's not all on them. We know that those guys didn't have anything to do with how we played or what foot we put forward. But ultimately, when you're in the second year of your career and you play this poorly, now this is the second time you played poorly against New England. The first time was to the tune of 3 interceptions. This is the second time. And for you to say no and take zero responsibility for your performance in particular, which is the one everybody is going to scrutinize. I got a news flash for Zach Wilson. You are going to be more scrutinized than anybody on that football team. You're going to get praised more than anybody on that football team when you have success. But to me, it just seemed arrogant as a defensive guy, and I would not want to look at him come in the locker room.
Well, I think the biggest thing about the locker room is the locker room knows, right? You can't lie to them. Right. And I watched this show called Lie to Me, and on the show, they noticed these certain cues from different people that say you might be fibbing or you might be telling a story. Zach Wilson was lying because he knew he played bad. That's why he hit his nose like this and walked off. Now, you think about this locker room, and you mentioned arrogance, Marcus. How much arrogance does it take to lead you to stupidity? And here is why I say that. And I know that's harsh. This was a layup. He said, the reporter asked, defensively, you give up 3 points. Offensively, you only scored 3 points. Do you feel you let the defense down? He's basically saying, I'm going to give you the stats that allow you to know you let them down.
Absolutely.
So you can answer this question the right way, walk into your locker room, and probably be consoled by the defense that's going to say, young quarterback, even though you took it all on your shoulders, we can do more as well. Because that's what happens in the locker room. He was so arrogant that even with that and knowing that he played bad, he'd rather answer the question that way than just say, I have to play better. Yeah. I have to do more. And when you look at that lack of awareness, it leads me to a bigger question. Not are you smart enough, not are you humble enough to accept accountability, but do you have enough leadership? Do you have enough intelligence to take us where this roster is possible of going? Yeah. And for Zach Wilson, he missed an opportunity to not only be a great leader, but to galvanize this locker room around him and have them back it.
Well said by both you guys. I think the last 36 hours has forced me to just be honest and I need to publicly apologize to guys like Jimmy Garoppolo and guys like Daniel Jones and Dak Prescott, because they've always handled these really difficult situations incredibly well, and I certainly don't speak about that enough, the leadership that they display. That being said, I think it's really important to point out one thing. There's a difference between a young player working through being young on a good team and holding a good team back. I've